That part.
I'm gonna, you know what? Write a bill of divorcement. Y'all go your separate ways, and you got both of y'all got to trust me as your father, regardless.
Yep.
So when he spoke through me, through my lawyer to me, I recognized that as God's voice. So that gave me the faith that I needed to sign this paper to end this marriage. That sounds absolutely crazy.
I do understand that. Because sometimes it's tricky to decipher what is the Lord's voice and what is based off of your desires.
Talk about it.
I mean, I know we were probably going to get into it when you went back to point number 3, which was the Lord's voice, but so I agreed with being married to that individual at the time based off of he said God told him that I was his wife, or that, I had one of those stories.
You got one of them?
Oh, let's not talk about it. But it agreed with me because I had peace about it because it was my heart's desire to be married.
Got you. Word.
Okay. So I went with it because I desired to be married, because I like the person, for the most part, and all that. And I thought, okay, it's fine because I have peace because that's my desire. However, if I had been listening on my own to the voice of the Lord for myself and not sitting on a word that he said God told him, then I would have been able to discern, nah, this ain't it. And I wouldn't have gotten crushed so hard. You know what I mean? So I would just, even in this moment, to whoever's listening, make sure that you are discerning carefully the voice of the Lord. And I think, like you just said, when your lawyer, spoke to you, it agreed with your spirit in a deep way. Not your desires, but your spirit, because the heart is deceitful, right? So your spirit, and the other way you could tell is because it was something that you did not want to do, right? This is one thing that I always like. When I feel like I'm supposed to fast, I don't be wanting to. I like to eat. I like dessert. I like TV. I like social media because I live by myself. Okay, I like what I like, but I'm not. The enemy's not gonna tell me to cut off things that my flesh want. Like, duh, you know what I'm saying? So you can easily discern, okay, this is God, because the lawyer just said to do something that my flesh says, no.
Whose side are you on?
Right. And so it was easy at that point to discern, this was the Lord. And yeah, like you said, you felt that release once you did it. And I felt that release too once I gave that ring back. I said, wow, this is what real freedom and peace feels like. Oh, okay.
Whoa. So, wow. And it's not a counterfeit. This is not that false or fake freedom.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people, honestly, that are faking the funk, man.
Yeah.
They're wanting to convince themselves that they're actually walking in freedom, but they're actually doing what it is that they want to do. Yeah. And that voice will bother you. That it will nag at your spirit until you do what God requires of you. Until it's gonna nag you, it's gonna bother you. You're gonna hear it from 1,000 different places, and you can get behind me, Satan, all you want to.
Right. But that's the thing.
That ain't.
It's weighty. It's weighty, and that's why people, when we finally obey, we feel such a weight lifted, right? And I almost hate to say it this way. Everybody's gonna be mad. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
There is a weight that we carry with sin, and the reason, because it's not a normal sin, right? Normal as in one of the 10 commandments or something. But the Bible also says that it is a sin to know what you ought to do and not do it.
Yikes.
And it don't feel good. It don't feel good.
And for those of you who want to hear it from the King James Version, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, that is sin. So we talking about stealing and coveting and fornicating and adulterating and all this kind of stuff. But God says, if you know the right thing to do and you don't do it, it is sin. Can I tell you a story?
I'm snatching.
We were on a
I don't got no edges, Chris.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know no other way. This is, let me tell you, that word beats me up
It beats
in the best
me.
way, and I love it. I love it. I was on a cruise one time. In fact, it was the last time we had done the Capital Jazz cruise. It's crazy. This is wild.
I need to
So
cut
on the
myself
cruises,
off.
they don't let you use cash.
Oh,
You don't use
okay,
cash on the cruise. So you give your credit card to the people when you get on the cruise line, and your credit card is connected to your stateroom key. So
oh,
anything that your stateroom key has a barcode on it, right?
that's
And so whatever you do, you just use a stateroom key. Boom,
that's
boom, 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 boom.
dangerous, Lord. You better keep.
So, and when I tell you, folks can, and they know that you go crazy. You can
Yeah,
go crazy on whatever in the
because you know.
casinos and the bars and the what. You're not
Oh,
even thinking, because it's, if you pull your cash out, that's one thing. You put
right.
that card, I put it in the car. So you
Feel
just
it
charging it
moving.
up the whole week on the cruise.
Oh
So
Lord.
this is what your boy did.
Oh,
This is when I first did my Khristian 3.0 record, right?
yeah.
So this is a jazz record. So I decided to go down to where they were selling all the CDs, right? And actually bring a little speaker
Okay.
and play my music in the library where they were selling CDs or whatever. And I told people, hey, it's $20 cash. Just give me cash. Because what I realized was there was a lot of people that could not stand using their, like you were saying, they couldn't stand using that stateroom key.
Yep.
They couldn't stand it. So I was like, yo, give me some cash. Yo. So first of all, my presence was there.
Oh Lord.
And I remember Najee coming up. It was like, man, you killing it in here. And I told him, I was like, bro, you gotta you play your music, be present, and sign the stuff right here and take cash. So I'm in there taking cash. Yo,
Oh God.
I'm breaking all the rules.
I mean, clearly breaking all the rules.
But your boy is balling out. I was the number one seller on the cruise.
See.
Maybe the day before the last day, I'm in there again. I got a stack, a wad of 20s in my pocket, because people are just, it's $20 easy.
Yeah.
Lady comes up to me from the cruise line and says, I'm sorry, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just selling my CDs, you know what I'm saying, signing autographs. And she's like, oh, you can't accept cash. We can't accept cash. You're not supposed to accept cash. And I was like, what? Really? And she was like, yeah. So I was like, well, what you want me to do?
She's really like you didn't know.
What? And what is this? What is this? So the lady says, we're going to need you, because that was also a way for them to track CD sales. Because they were taking a percentage of every CD that was sold.
Lordy.
Girl, it gets worse. I'm telling you. I'm just going from bad to worse. This is your brother. I'm just that dude. Oh God, forgive me, Lord Jesus.
No, listen. No judgment.
To him, I'm talking. I'm talking about to him that knows to do good and do it not in sin.
Mm-hmm.
So the lady says, we're going to need you to turn over all of the cash. I'm like, all right, bet. Let me go to my room and I'll bring it back. Meanwhile, I got the cash in my pocket.
Right.
I got the stacks in my pocket.
Oh God.
Because every time I go down, I got enough to make change. People are like, all I got is 100. I got you.
No problem,
right? No, my problem, my friend. It's for you, my friend. It's no problem. Right? So in my mind, in my spirit, actually, in that moment,
yeah,
my heart, my spirit said to me, give it to her. Just give it to her. But I told her, let me go to the room, because what I was going to do was, honestly.
Yeah, keep saying that. I mean, let's be real out here.
Yeah, let's be real about it. I was going to keep some of that money because I didn't want to get.
They was going to charge you.
Right. And I'm going to break percentage and all this other kind of stuff or whatever. Right. Yo, when I tell you, my sister, I went up to the room. I honestly did not keep any of it. Yeah. So what was the whole point of going up to the room anyway?
Right.
Because the Lord beat me up every step of the way up to my room. That was I was walking the Green Mile, girl, back to the room. Got to the room and I was like,
everything I know.
When I went back and I handed her the money, I thought it was all done, thought it was all over. But because I left, she figured that I did something unscrupulous.
Of course.
So now I got to meet with the head dude of the entire cruise to explain myself. Now it ain't just me. Take 6. I'm representing not just Khristian Dentley. I'm a part of this brand.
Yeah.
So now you got this dude on the ship that's stealing money from. So they thought, but that's what it looked like because I didn't do what was right. And to him that knows to do good and does not, it is sin. The right thing to do was just to do what's right. That's what God said to Cain. He was like, yo, if you do what's good, it would be well with you. But if you don't, sin lies at the door. Fix your face. That's what God was like. Why is your countenance falling? Fix your face. If you do the right thing, you ain't got no problem.
You ain't got no problems.
Got no problems. But I didn't. So let me tell you what the saving grace was. My man Cliff Hunt. God bless you, bro. If you ever see this podcast, I love you, man, forever.
You're grateful.
Cliff Hunt. I am grateful unto thee. I am grateful unto thee.
Jesus.
When he walked out of the office, tall, I mean, this dude was, you could tell he was the man. You could tell when he opened that door that he was the man on the ship. He opened the door and I looked down at his wrist. He and I were wearing the same exact watch. It was a rose gold Boulevard. I'll never forget it with a black leather band. Rose gold with a black leather band. And I was like, you have great taste. And when he saw my watch, he was like, so do you. And in that moment, the grace of God covered what could have been a very, very bad situation.
I tell you, it covered.
Child, we would. When I tell you, and we, like I said, we just got invited back, and they put us in suites, and it was great. Yeah. But that was God's grace covering. His grace kept me. It gave me definitely what I didn't deserve, and His mercy kept me from what I did deserve.
Yes.
But I knew what the right thing to do was from the beginning, and I didn't do it.
That trouble, yeah.
What peace we often forfeit. How do you forfeit? Not because you got beat, you gave it away.
You choose the wrong thing.
A lot of us forfeit our peace, sis, because we give it away.
Yep.
And what needless pain we bear. That just was needless.
It was. And then you probably had to be on eggshells for like the next day or so.
Absolutely. Now I'm walking around. Does anyone need anything? I can get your food unto thee.
Can't even enjoy the last couple of days.
Can't even enjoy it. You can't even enjoy it. So I think that like you're saying, you heard that voice in your heart that was telling you what was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And but when our desire, man, but I want that. I want it so bad. We gotta love God more than what our desires are.
That it's the Abraham and Isaac. It's to give it all and be willing to, at least. And sometimes the Lord sometimes He allows you to keep it. Sometimes. Or sometimes He gives you even something better.
Right.
We have to take our first step of obedience. Hands down.
Hands down. Hands down. Listen, how did you because I'm looking at the brand behind you and I love that brand. Lives depend. People have seen that and they don't know that's you.
I know, which is so interesting to me. But I mean,
why is that interesting to you?
Well, because it has my logo across the back. My name is literally on the back of it. It says Trinity. You know what? But also, people don't know the Trinity. They don't know that's me either. And I'm like, how, guys? I'm in the video.
I'm in the video.
It literally doesn't bother me. I'm like, well, hey, if the message can go farther than me.
Word. So how did that happen? How did you that concept?
This is such a great story. I love it. So I was teaching voice lessons, Lord, like years ago. But I wanted an incentive to give to my students, I will say the particular phrase, lead worship like lives have been known, that was the very first phrase. And I came up with that phrase, like it was birthed out of a moment where I was on the stage and I could look out, get ready to lead worship. I could look out and just see so many issues in the room, like a husband and a wife, that kind of thing, or somebody down at the front just crying, or somebody in the back, they have a mask on, they're sick, or just whatever. And there was one particular season where a lot of miracles were happening at this particular house. And people were bringing their sick people to the house, and pastor and the pastor, staff, they would talk to us before service, and they would be like, hey, like so and so is here from France, and they're believing God for a healing, and we really got to get somewhere and worship today. And I'm sitting here like, that's a lot of pressure.
That's some pressure. That's some pressure.
Okay. So, quite literally, and it's not that I didn't have issues of my own.
Right.
Any person, we are humans, especially worship leaders. My gosh, we are human. But at that moment, it is the most selfless thing to be able to put our stuff to the side, lay it at the altar, right? Lay it at the feet of Jesus, allow him to deal with our stuff later, but have a compassionate heart that can help our brother and sister, that can do whatever it takes for the sake of another person. We can never be more like Jesus than when we take on the heart of compassion, right? Because he literally laid his life down, sweating drops of blood right before he's going, to Calvary. And like he went through with it because of us, because he could see that we were in need, and he was being obedient to his father. And so at that moment, all I ever want to do really is be obedient to God, and help my brother and sister if I can, if I have the means to. And so I would get ready to be on that platform, and I would carry that in the back of my mind, but I'm like, okay, girl, you gotta lead worship like somebody else's life is literally on the line. And so that's where the phrase was birthed. And
wow.
I carried it with me. And like I said, I wanted to give my students an incentive, as they just progressed in the class. And at first it was going to be a coffee mug. And I went to look up the prices of making coffee mugs, and they were like, this is $10 a pop, and you have to order 50. I was like, $500. You know what I mean? Like at the time, we ain't got no money. And so I'm like, I'm not quite willing to invest that. And so I gave up. I was just like, well, I missed the Lord. I missed him.
That wasn't God.
It wasn't God.
$500. That wasn't Jesus.
Like I quite literally made this on an app. You know those little apps on your phone where you can like do word art, or whatever. Like it was literally an app, and you could make the background transparent. So yeah, I thought it was gonna be a coffee mug. Next thing I know, I go into the mall, just on my normal, I'm in the mall, and I see quite literally.
I ain't got 500 for the mug.
Right. But I'm in the mall.
How much is that?
Right.
Yeah, give me two of them.
My second favorite place to be in the world. And so I passed by this store that was a print shop, and they had T-shirts in the store, and I just walked in there casually and was like, "Oh, how much would it cost to put this phrase on this T-shirt?" Like literally, I had already had the logo of my name. It's my actual signature, and it was already done from like a previous small business that I like to do. It's a little fashion business and all that, but very entrepreneur kind of girl. But I wanted to like put this logo on the front, and then the Trinity on the back, and they were like, give us 30 minutes, come back, it'll be like $20. I was like, are you kidding? And so I came back, and when they showed me the original one, and I have a picture of this, like where it's laid down on the desk, and my heart completely just, it stopped for a beat. And I knew, my spirit knew, this is not just for you. This is not just for you. Like this is a thing. This is weighty. This is a thing. And so, I mean, the Lord, yet again, we talked about hearing the Lord's voice. He showed me every single step of the way for releasing this clothing line. And really, it's not a clothing line. Actually, it's a full-blown situation, because it's more than clothes. It's merchandise company or whatever. But really, it's a movement. It's a brand. I have ginormous dreams for it. Right now, she's sitting very quietly, because when I moved, y'all, I didn't even know what a post office was. I couldn't, go ship nothing. But it was a lot when I moved here about 3 years ago. But she is coming back very soon, and so
man, that's amazing. Like, where did you see it? Where has it gone? Because I've seen it on people's, just tell us, where has it gone?
Across continents. It started off, first of all, okay, let me back up. It started off, I again, the Lord told me to do a pre-order, because again, remember, I didn't have the $500 for the coffee mug.
Right.
So I had a website already, and I could figure out, my little Wix website, I could figure out how to embed a store. And so I figured it out how to embed a store, take a picture, put the weights. I needed like a shipping scale, like, I mean, a postage scale, like all that. Like, I just kind of figured it out some kind of way. And yeah, the Lord told me like to start a pre-order where people would pay for it in advance of receiving it. So because they had paid for it, I could order it with their money. Huh? And then, literally, I probably, so in that store that day, I probably got maybe 5 or 6 teas and took them with me, or I went back and got 5 or 6 teas. I had my girls, and we took a little picture in a hallway, like a hotel hallway. Like, I'm not lying. Like, actually, one of the hotel, like, desk people took the pictures. It was a basic,
Oh my
I mean, when I
gosh.
tell you basic, but the minute I posted that picture, the response was overwhelming. Overwhelming. And pre-orders, there was probably 70 pre-orders on the very first like run of them. And I
Man.
mean, and this is really where it started. I'm gonna give credit and flowers where they are due. Tasha Cobbs Leonard, at the time, I think she was just Tasha Cobbs. I can't remember, but my sister literally ordered like a stack of them for herself and her entire team and wore them on a performance and took amazing pictures. Not kidding. So I literally credit her because she was the first big name at that time. And because of who she was, and also because of some of the relationships that I had formed, I mean, everybody's worn it. Travis Green, John McReynolds, David and Nicole Binion, literally everybody. And Michelle Williams, they send me pictures in the shirt. Just sent them left and right. I haven't lifted hardly a finger on the promotion marketing side at all.
Ah,
When I tell you, and then it blossomed so much outside of just lead worship, like lives depend on it, to multiple phrases because every ministry in the church wanted one. They wanted their
right.
own. So it went
Usher. Usher.
literally,
Like
so quite literally, like
security, like life depends
no, it
on
was.
it.
It was protect like lives depend on it. Is an
Nah,
actual
I'll put
t-shirt.
security. Security, like life depends on it.
No, literally, like pray, like preach, like teach, dance, sing, play, musicians. I mean, it has.
Pray.
Yes, pray is the other one that's huge. And every day, we do National Day of Prayer and stuff like that. I try to re-promote, but like it is beyond me, and I realized that very quickly. But so in this season now, I have kept it close. I could have opened it and just tried to get rid of the I got a couple of little ones left in my little in my little stash. Not the popular sizes. Like I pretty much got rid of everything before I left Florida, but I know that this is so much bigger than me. Like I see conferences with classes and sermons talking about, hey, I need you to minister and do use the gifts that God has given you like somebody else's life is on the line. Like I see a magazine, I see music. I mean, what? Like because it's not it was never about the t-shirt. Like are you kidding me? This was about me living it from the platform and I could see what if somebody walks in the room that's suicidal? You know what I'm saying? Not to be morbid, but like people be
Word.
on their last leg, especially when they
Yeah.
come into a church or you just never know where. And God has given you these gifts so that you can be a blessing, not just to yourself, but to others. So
Trend. And this is why we cannot treat this
yeah.
like it's trivial.
Right.
It's so important. It's so important because literally there are people that are depending
Yeah.
on the anointing of God in you to give them
Yes.
the word that they need for the next step, or to
Yes.
the word that they need to not go and drive off a cliff, or the word that they need to
No,
stay wherever
literally.
like legit.
Yes.
And some of us, unfortunately, we would get up there for a lot of other reasons.
Right.
We would want to play
Yep.
like our next girlfriend depends on it.
Woo. Yeah.
We would want to sing
Yep.
because like my record deal depends on
My
it.
record, right. Ouch, ouch,
Who,
ouch, ouch, ouch.
who cares about your run? Who cares about that song that you've been practicing all week when the Holy Spirit moves on this other thing and he just wants you to sing, hallelujah,
Yes,
hallelujah,
yes.
stay right there. You're like, man, I wrote this
That's
tune.
just what it
No,
is.
nah, hold on, Jesus. Hold on, Jesus. Let's check this out. Wait a minute. I got one for you, God.
Woo!
No. This is
Fish.
there's somebody that is weighing that is in the balance, that is hanging in the balance, and they need you to do what you do for God like their life depends on it.
Right,
This ain't a game.
right.
This ain't a game.
It's
And I love that.
it's not.
I love that. How do you obviously when you talk about,
Yeah.
leading worship like lives depend on it, you've had to lead worship from a broken place, of broken
Oh,
places before.
absolutely. Yep.
How do you do that? How do you lead worship like life depends on it when your own life you feel like you're broken yourself?
Right. If you fall into pieces, that's a complicated question. Um, because I don't really feel like there's ever a right or wrong. Um, mm, that's a complicated question. I'm gonna try to break this down as best I can. It feels very layered because what you don't want to do, I got in trouble for this by my pastor one time, right? I got in
Uh-oh.
trouble for this because I was having a personal moment on
Mm,
stage and I was off in some world with my eyes closed and completely unaware of all the people that were in the congregation and I had left them, you know what I mean? Like when you had gone in so deeply or whatever,
yeah.
you just pouring out your heart to God. It could have been not necessarily because of like something that was wrong done to me. Maybe it could have even just been like me and my sin, and I'm trying to like really go for it because God, I need your grace and your mercy, right, or your forgiveness or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
just worshiping from that place, and so there are times when you can lead, and it's about you, and that's something you don't want to do. But I do my absolute best to guard my heart in that and to lay my stuff down at the Lord's feet. Not to pretend that it's not there, but um, to just lay it down, to relax, to, like you said, trust God, right? And if even for that moment, and, step into the fullness of this moment, knowing that, the Lord is with me and that He will carry me through my stuff, but like this moment is for God and to
Yeah.
minister to his people. And so that can be a tricky thing. That can be a
Yeah.
tricky
I
thing.
can see that.
Yeah. Because, say you're married and you just got in an argument 2 minutes before before you get on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
anything can happen. And like you
Yeah.
carry that onto the platform. So I have learned over time, to recalibrate my spirit, take a moment of prayer, to release it, and to just
Yeah.
focus. And whether I'm singing a song directly to God or I'm singing a song that is encouraging his people, I feel okay, that I'm able to minister to them. Now, again, that's why I said this is layered because, when you're singing songs of praise and worship to God, you're encouraging yourself as well. So I
Right.
will really say that worship has kept me because when I begin to exalt the name above
Ah.
names, when I begin to, I start to feel a lot better about my little
Yeah.
problems. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm telling my problems who my God is. Okay.
Yeah.
But also, I would say B, outside of, singing to the Lord, and I'm starting to forget what I was just saying, but like basically you're taking this moment where, that there's a lot of issues out in front of you, but it is important for you to almost take on the weight of your brother so that you can minister from a real place. Here it is. Thank you, Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. When you're worshiping in spirit and in truth, you're
Uh-oh.
it's different because you're able to really communicate the words and the lyrics that come out of your mouth from a real place. And so, my mom says this phrase, and I take it everywhere. I have adopted it. She says, "You can sing a lie just as good as you can tell one."
Uh-oh.
You can sing a lie just as good as you can tell one, right? And so if you're singing these words that you don't believe,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that has the ability to affect how you're communicating it into,
Yeah.
this moment of leading worship, right? If I'm singing like,
Absolutely.
God is able to do just what he said he will do. But if you don't believe it, then you kind of just singing words off of a page. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
As
Yeah.
opposed to me being able to communicate it. Like I might be struggling in my finances, but I trust God and I believe these words. So I'm going to sing them with all the faith I have and communicate them so that the person on the other side of it is also encouraged. And now we're encouraged together and we're lifted together. We begin to feel lighter together as the Lord begins to.
Mhm.
Does that
Huh?
I feel like that was a lot, but I
Let us exalt his name
woo,
together.
together.
There was a situation like when I was at the conference, and I knew I could feel before we walked on the stage because this God was going to show up in this particular set. I knew, girl, you ever
Woo,
experienced that?
yeah,
You ever experienced that? Like before you even walk on the stage,
because you
I
feel
told
uneasy and
listen,
you just
I
know.
told man, listen. So we're at Kingdom Culture Church here in
Ah,
Winter
that's
Garden, Orlando.
my fave.
Listen, so Jamil was on the team. I had my team, my squad was
Mm,
crazy.
dropping glory.
So listen, so Jamil was on the squad, and I told him backstage. So they were on the other side. So
Yeah.
you got me, Adrian, and Von Thompson, my dude. Von was
Oh
on this
yeah.
side,
Yep.
and on the other side, you got Irene, Von's wife, and you got LaRue and Jamil. A
I
team.
mean,
We were
literal
the
18.
A team.
What is this conference and why was it
Crazy.
happening?
My dad was like, "Hey, did you call Trinity?" I was like,
My goodness. Well,
"Listen." So I
yeah,
told
I've
Jamil
been on
before
some
we
trips
started.
here, but
I,
laid out across the bed.
I told Jamil, like we had 2 minutes before we going on because they were real time conscious and stuff.
Yeah.
I said, Jamil, I already, and when I started to say, I already feel, I feel, what's the word that I use? I'm full. I said, I
Mm.
feel full already.
Mm.
If I start singing this song and I lose it, I need you to just
That's
just
it.
take over because
That's
I'm
it.
already done. Right.
Whew.
I get on that stage and we were supposed to do this other thing before going into the thing, but I was like, I'm just flowing with him.
Yep.
I got on that stage, I was like, all my words fall short.
And they literally fell short.
And what was cool, I had my man Elliot Teamer on keys, right?
Oh,
So Elliot was on keys, and Mark didn't start playing drum. Elliot didn't start the track, so Mark didn't come in. So it was just me and Elliot. And so we were doing it rubato. It was like, so no tempo or anything. So I was like, all my words fall short.
yo, yo.
Jamil did not open his mouth. When I tell you my boy left me out there,
Yo.
and I kept going, and
Because
I
he
kept
knew.
going.
His spirit knew.
I was like, I've got nothing new. And with every phrase, I
Ooh.
felt the weight of the spirit of God in that space. How can I express all
Woo.
my gratitude? And I could also, even though I felt more and more weight in those moments, I felt more and more undergirded and strength in that moment too to get through it.
Yep.
So by the time we got to, so I throw up my hands, and pray, and I was there. So we went through the whole thing. It was that set
Mm.
was
Mm.
bananas. It's bananas. I wrote this this grateful. I am grateful.
Oh.
I'm so grateful for your love. Listen. So at the end
Well,
of
did we record it? Because I
let me
need it. Where?
listen. I gotta send it to you. I gotta send it to you because that right there, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be something one day. So after it was over, I talked to him. I was like, "Yo, bro, man, you just left me out there." He was
Right.
like, "No, that's what that moment needed.
That's
They
what
needed the
yeah.
people needed to see that, to experience it." And lo
Oh,
and behold,
right.
before the conference was over, somebody came up to me and they were like, "Hey, man, you remember that one song that you sang that you couldn't like hardly get through?" He said, "I needed that.
Yep.
I needed that because
Yep.
that released something in me. It gave me, I don't want to use the word permission, but it allowed me to see somebody that
Yep.
that that could minister through that.
Yep.
And I need it." And he said, one thing about everybody that's here at this conference, we
Yep.
about that authentic. We
Yes.
can smell a fake like that.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm
So
saying. Yeah,
yes.
that's what I'm saying. Even when I said earlier, like, no, you don't want to have a personal moment to where you completely disconnect from everybody. But it's okay to have this moment where you're connected and you're worshiping in spirit and in truth. And it's presented that way, but you were able enough to have it together enough that you were able to make it a corporate moment and they're brought
Word.
into it with you. There is
Word.
a difference.
There's a difference. There's a
Woo!
difference. That's the nuance of leading worship. People don't understand. This thing is weighty. This thing is
Yeah.
weighty. Girl, let me tell you something. I got one more thing to talk to you about, but listen, I love this conversation so much.
Ooh, it's necessary.
Oh, long overdue.
Yeah, right.
So you are now walking into rooms
Yeah.
and you're standing, and you have been for quite some time. You've been on stages and in platforms and on teams with some people that are extremely notable.
Yeah.
How do you manage the level of humility in those rooms that allows you to continue to do what you're doing as unto the Lord when you're standing alongside giants in
Mm,
the faith, recognizing that you wouldn't be in there if you weren't one too, but at the same time carrying that with humility because um it's big, it's bigger than us.
yeah.
How do
No,
you do that?
you really just said it. It is the humility. And like it is, in a practical sense, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Like there's always that awareness that I can gain something from this. I can gain some knowledge, some wisdom. I don't know it all. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I do have a level of confidence in the God in me and in what I've seen God do throughout the timeline of my life that does allow me to know I'm supposed to be here. And I'm
Woo.
grateful for any value that I'm able to add. This happens a lot in writing sessions. This happens a lot in recordings, live recordings and stuff like that. And yeah, just in general, but I take a very safe approach in a lot of rooms, right? Where I don't just jump off saying stuff. I listen, and then when I have value to add, then I
uh,
speak. And that is
uh,
wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to just be talking. But I feel like the Lord has kept me grounded by way of multiple people. My circle keeps me grounded. My mama keeps me grounded. My best friends keep me grounded. They praise me, but not let my head get big. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
God was
you know
right. Because
you
yeah,
know your shirt was wrinkled when you was giving the Lord praise.
no, that is my mama. Okay, that is Rhonda Elaine.
Girl, you sure saying good with that wrinkled shirt.
Have will keep you very, very human, and I'm grateful for that. And like
Yeah.
every person needs people like that. But at the end of the day, I also know I'm very well acquainted with myself to know that without the help of the Lord, I would be nothing.
Yeah.
Vocally, I couldn't sing if it wasn't for God. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know what I
Yeah.
sound like without the glory. You
Ooh,
know what I'm
word.
saying? And so yeah, I'm very grateful that the Lord has chosen me for those spaces. I will say that He's also decided to trust me with these spaces because of how I've responded from the beginning. You know what I mean? From
And
the
you've been the
beginning,
exact same from that day to this. From that day to this.
I've tried my.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to be haughty. You know, I just don't. And
Yeah.
I mean, y'all, this is practical, but like, get on TikTok for 2 seconds, you can see somebody that's better than you. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, duh, the
Right.
girls from Wicked sang us down, okay? And like I know, like, yeah, you got a ways to go, girl. So like, just stay well acquainted with who you are, but also with more people that are at other levels. Don't be the smartest person in the room. Like, still have a hunger to grow, and always be evolving.
Yeah.
That is the basis of everything.
I love it. I am so proud of you. I am so honored to be friends. I am
Right.
so I am the fact that I can call you and you answer the phone,
Are
you
you
know,
kidding me?
this
The
is
Khristian deadly calls.
whatever.
No.
Whatever. Listen.
No, I feel
Listen.
the same way about you because you've literally said the same. All the countries you've been in, all the stages you've been on, the thousands and thousands of people that you've sang to and you've ministered to. And I mean, are you kidding? You are literally still the same Christian that I've known from day one.
Listen, I love that. And that is one of my greatest honors is to
Yeah.
hear people say that. Hear you say that. My wife, I've known Adrian since I was 5 years old, and I remember sitting at a place called Sticky Fingers. It was like a restaurant in Carolina
Wow.
when we were kids. Well, actually, we were. I had already started singing with the group and things like that, so I went back to her dad's church and I sang this before we got married and stuff. And she was like,
Yeah.
"You're the same Christian." You're
Same.
the same Christian that I've always known. And that's big because some folks, they get a little piece of ice cream in a little green
Now they
room.
need, red Skittles. And I'm just like, no, what happened to the gratitude? The
What
gratitude
happened?
to just being a, a part of a
If
moment.
Jesus made of himself no reputation, what you doing?
I don't understand that.
What you doing? Jesus ain't even make of himself no reputation. He was washing his disciples' feet. He came down here not to be served, but to serve. What are we talking about? What are you doing?
My mind doesn't even grasp the concept of like being like haughty. Like
How
what
does that work?
I
How does that work? What's the end game? What let me ask, what is the end game of that? Your haughty diva spirit in the church?
especially in the church.
Like literally. Oh, wait. Is there an oh, maybe there's a name that's above the name that's above every name. Maybe is it
Right.
yours?
I'm
No,
just so
like clearly, who are you? Are
I
you out your mind? I
I
don't
mean,
get it.
but yeah. Would you is there anything else that you would add to that in how you've stayed this way as well?
Definitely I am very well acquainted with my shortcomings,
Right.
the things my thorns in the flesh, so to speak. And I'm not talking about,
Exactly.
oh, he be going to watch pornography. No, it's none of
Right.
that. That's like that ain't it. But you just know how I know my humanness. I
Right.
see God allows me to see my ugly. When you, the closer you get to the light, the hotter it is,
Child.
right? So you've seen these dudes that's and no offense to the brothers. I
Oh
appreciate
God.
y'all. I love y'all, boy. Hey, y'all be doing the doggone thing, you know what I'm saying? Wade the barber, you know what I'm saying? You be doing the thing. Um, but you see these dudes that they get their hair cut and whatever, and they got the
Oh,
paint on it, right?
oh yeah.
Once you get hot enough and you start sweating,
Start dripping.
that junk start dripping.
Jesus.
But here's the thing.
Oh,
Here's the thing, Trent. Your eyes can't see you.
right.
Your eyes can see everybody else but you. So you got to have people that are around you that see you.
Let's see your blind spots. That's what I said. Safe.
Like, hey
Yep.
man, you
Yep.
got you
Yep.
got the thing. You
Yeah.
got that thing. And it's like, no, I don't.
And I appreciate that because yeah, they call me out if anything even sounds remotely close to pride, right? I have a
Correct.
best friend, and sometimes I'm like playing back a video. They post videos of me all the time on social media. I literally just collab whatever they do. I'm like, that's fine, but like I'll play it back, and I'm ministered to by the video, and so I'll be watching. I'm like, yes, and I'm going in, but then to that person, it looks like, wait, is this pride? Like, are you?
Right.
Because
Right.
you singing it, you hitting a run or you hitting a high note. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like, don't misunderstand me. Like, yes, it's great, like from a natural perspective, but no, I'm being ministered to because man, like God was using my voice and my surrender, right? He used
Word.
me in that moment, and I can feel the glory of God coming through the screen. And like, no, like this is giving me life too. Is that weird?
Absolutely.
Is that weird?
No, no, because it's like being a chef. You eat your own cooking. You gotta eat
Hello.
it.
Oh, I love that. I'm using that. That
Listen,
was really
I'm not about to cook something and then everybody else eat me
right.
not and enjoy it.
Exactly. So I
Like
just
if I'm like, you make you some peach cobbler, you be like, well, this is good. Oh, you prideful. No, it ain't pride.
no, I felt the Lord, and like it is so cool to be on the receiving end, Christian, because like
Word.
we pour out so much, and like
Yes.
just we don't always get to receive. you
Word.
know, and I just
Word.
felt like there are moments that I'm receiving too. I'm eating off that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And
And
that's those moments like that show me that it ain't me. It's the Holy
it's not
Spirit
me.
ministering through me. Because the fact that he can minister through me to me when I'm watching this
That's
back,
what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be weird,
this
but
ain't me.
no, this is blessing me. I
This is
put so
blessing
many
me.
like little crying face emojis in the comments, but I be really crying, y'all. Like my insides be like, like for real. That's like my real face because, yeah, God just He blows
Listen,
my mind.
he continues, and may he continue to do that. May he continue to allow you to walk into rooms where you are the answer that our generation, God knew our generation would ask.
Yeah.
May you continue to answer the questions that God knew our generation would ask before you were even born.
Wow.
May he cause your voice to continue to resonate in the hearts of people that are hungry for him. May
Yeah.
he continue to make your hand to pen songs that honor him and that lift up the body. May he continue to cause you to collaborate with people
Yeah.
that will cause, like the Bible says, one to chase 1,000, two will put 10,000 to flight. May he
Yeah.
multiply
Amen.
the resources of your sowing. May he cause all grace, every favor and earthly blessing to come to you in abundance. And may we stand in awe of what
Mm.
God is doing with you on whatever platform that you're on, whether it's in front of thousands or whether it's one to one, just like this.
Yep.
I appreciate you and I absolutely love you, man.
And first of all, I received that. Second of all, to you as well. And thirdly, thank you for even just seeing fit to bring me into this moment with you, to trust the God in me enough that I could keep up with you in a conversation, right? And like, just be able to share God in just a chill way. And I'm great.
Yeah,
I'm personally grateful and ministered to by this moment, and my heart is
listen.
full. So
This is fantastic. I love it. Listen, y'all go get y'all shirts when she go back on. They go
I
back on sale.
mean, be ready because when I
When
tell you that thing's gonna drop and God's gonna do a thing,
drop it. It's gonna drop.
yes.
My God, today.
Same.
Listen, I love you, girl.
Love you so much, brother. Thank you for everything.